Welcome to the second lecture of the Squatting Your Way to Millions course, which is part of the Millionaire Squatter YouTube channel. Where's my water? Yeah, here's my water. Today is Thursday, October 31st, 2024. This is the day after the day of the introductory lecture where I showed you a house I thought I was going to squat. By the way, the videos in this channel are not meant to be watched independently. You have to watch them in the order they are made, in the order they are uploaded, since you don't know exactly when they are made, but it's easy to check when they are uploaded. Just like you would watch lectures of a course, you wouldn't watch the fifth lecture before you watch the first or the second. Otherwise, you won't know what I'm talking about. So, in that introductory video, before the current course, introductory video to the channel, I showed you that nice house I thought I was going to squat. That was yesterday. As you may guess now, I'm not in that house, I'm in a motel room. My first squatting attempt, or maybe I should call it experience, is not exactly what I would call a resounding success. I made that video around 12:30, from 12:30 to 1 p.m. It was a 20-minute video, so it was in that time frame. It was right when I got into that house. After that, I left to look at some other houses. That's where I showed you the first video of this lecture, which was that what I call the mobile home number one, which I showed you, and then looked at some other houses, and then I went back to the first house, the one in the introductory video. I got there at 6 p.m. and at 6:30 p.m., so about half an hour later, I got kicked out by a neighbor who was watching the property on behalf of the owner. It's not his house, so legally he didn't have the right to kick me out, but he had the right to call 911. And I didn't want the sheriff deputies to show up and charge me with trespassing or breaking and entering. So when the neighbor showed up asking me what I was doing there, I told him I'm gonna leave, and I picked up my stuff and left. So between the initial less than half hour from about 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m., plus the half hour from 6 to 6:30 p.m., my first squatting experience lasted combined of less than 1 hour, which is not exactly the 3 to 13 years required by Arizona law to become an owner of a house through adverse possession. So it was a failed attempt. By now, you should have watched the videos about adverse possessions on the links I put in my previous video. The first lecture of the Squat Your Way to Millions course. In those videos, they tell you that you can adverse possess anything, land, easement, house. Basically, you can adverse possess a lot of things. And again, these are made by lawyers and by squatters. So if you want to make $1 million, again, make is not the right term. There's no right term in English for what they need to be invented a new term, because it's, if you want, I will use make because it's easier to do, but like I explained in the previous video, if you squat a house and by the time you become an owner, it's worth $500,000 and you don't sell it, you haven't made anything, but your net worth went up, that contributed to your net worth increasing by $500,000. So I'm going to call that make, even though technically it's not make. So you won't make $1 million if you squat easements, right of ways, small strips of land adjacent to your own, and all that stuff that lawyers talk about when they talk about adverse possession. If you want to make $1 million through squatting, again, assuming you are 14 years old. If you start later, you would make less, but it can help you cross that threshold of becoming a millionaire. You need to go after houses that are as is worth $100,000. So when you find a house, you need to Google the address and you need to get an idea what it would be worth after repairs. So if you look at if redfin.com indicates a value or trulia.com indicates a value, generally, not always, but generally it's the after repaired value. Unless the only exception I found from my experience is that if the house had sold recently for a very low price based on its current condition, then either Trulia or Redfin adjusts the value accordingly, and the value they show you is not the after repaired value. If you don't find a value on Trulia.com or Redfin.com, check Zillow, but in my experience, Zillow values tend to be overly optimistic, again, unless the house sold recently for in its as-is condition. So a rule of thumb, if you want a house that's worth at least $100,000 as is, Redfin and Trulia need to indicate an after repaired value of at least $200,000. So this is what we are looking for: either a house, mobile home, somewhere where you can live, and that Redfin or Trulia indicates a value of at least 200,000. And an initial screening of that we will do in one of those Java courses is that we screen out all properties for which the assessor website indicates a value of under 100,000. Every county is different. You will have to adjust to the county you are investing in. And they say investing, you invest mostly your time and some risk, and also some money. You invest about $1,000 a month. I will tell you down the road what you will spend $1,000 a month on. In Cochise, the assessor's website tends to indicate values that are lower than the after repaired value. So we do an initial screening in Cochise. We screen out properties for which the assessor's website indicates a value of under 100,000. But then after that, we manually look at Redfin.com and Trulia.com and screen out further the ones for which neither of these websites indicates a value of over 200,000. So the previous lecture was about the legal foundations, and hopefully you watched that. And if you did, ask your questions in the comments section of that lecture. Don't use my name if you know my name. If you use my name, I will delete your comment. If you redo it again, I will block you from the website. Just call me Squatter. That's all you need to call me for now. And the reason for that is until I become the owner of the property, I'm going to squat. I want to keep this more or less anonymous from the people who don't already know me. And then I don't have trouble telling you my name after I become the owner. Unless I find another house to squat, then I'll keep my name anonymous for that. So that one was about the legal foundations. And the second thing you need to learn, again, I'm assuming you are 14 years old and you don't know anything about anything, is you need to learn principles of real estate. You need to acquire the real estate knowledge that somebody who just got his license as a broker has. Without the experience, you don't need the experience of a broker, but you need to know the knowledge. So I'm assuming you are in high school. What you need to do to prepare for a career of a professional squatter is you need to find what, if there is, generally there is a community college, not all community colleges do that, but generally there are a few in your state that teach all the courses required to become a real estate broker. You don't need the broker license, but you need the knowledge. So the first thing you need to do is find, generally there is one course required to be a real estate agent. You need to find out what that course is. You need to find that community college that offers that course, ideally online. That way you won't waste time commuting. If you cannot find it online, do it in person. And take that course. Make sure you get at least a D. You don't need to get an A. Well, it would be nice if you got an A, but you need to get at least a D. That means you have some understanding of the foundations of real estate in your state, because you will need that knowledge. And once you've taken that course, whether or not you get the license, it's up to you. If you are under 18, you probably don't have the right to get the license anyway. Once you've taken that course, gotten at least a D, then you need to find the list of courses, ideally as part of an associate degree program in real estate, and take those courses, even though you're probably busy with your high school education. But take one course per semester, one course in fall, one course in spring. Assuming there are 8 courses or so, by the time you finish high school, you will have acquired the foundations of real estate. If it's an associate degree, you probably need to take the real estate courses plus some other courses. We don't care much about those for now. Just take the real estate courses until you've taken all the courses required to become a broker. Again, whether you get the license or not is optional. Once you have taken those courses, then take all computer courses in that community college. So hopefully between the real estate courses and computer courses, that's enough for you to get an associate degree. That way, as soon as you graduate from high school, you can complete, well, you may be able to get your associate degree like in 1 year after high school, if you do it full time. So in particular, a very important course is the appraisal course, because you will need to do a lot of not accurate appraisals, but you need to be able to look at the house and figure out whether or not it has its condition, it's worth more than 100,000 or less than 100,000. Getting appraisals using an appraiser, first it's expensive, and a lot of what you do is you'll be chasing dead ends. Like I told you, I just got kicked out yesterday from my first squatted house by a crazy cowboy who threatened to put bullets in my California car if I ever come back. So if I had paid $400 for an appraisal for a house just to live there less than an hour, that adds up pretty quick. So you need to do your own appraisals. They don't have to be accurate. You don't have to get exactly how much it's worth, but you should be able to tell whether a house is worth under 100,000 or more than 100,000 using your own skills. So we don't need accuracy, but you need to be able to ballpark it. So yeah, so that first house, what I called house 1, is gone. I won't squat that one. And then in the second video of the channel, which is the first video of this course, I showed you a mobile home. And then once I stopped filming, I headed out and I talked to a neighbor. That one was a nice neighbor, not like the crazy neighbor who threatened to put holes in my California car. He didn't seem to like Californians. My license plate has a California license plate, so that's how he refers to me, the California car. So the neighbor of the mobile home, that one was nice, but he informed me that the owner of record, the one I was calling George, remember I was knocking on the door and shouting George, see if he was there. That George has died, but he had 3 brothers in a nearby town. I don't remember whether he said one of them is dead or not. So 2 or 3 of his brothers live in a nearby town and they're alive, and one of them came. I forgot to ask him when did he come to pick up stuff. So that property now belongs to the Hares. The brothers are in a nearby town. The dead owner, George, has also a daughter in Colorado. So I suspect maybe she's the real owner. The property went through probate. So that was also, I thought that would be a good candidate to squat potentially, but it's not. If a house has heirs that are not lost somewhere and know about the property, then it's not a good candidate to squat. Because remember, we're not squatting to find a place to spend the night. We're squatting to be able to acquire the house, which takes several years. A number of years depends on your state. Minimum I know of. Actually, minimum in Arizona under some circumstances. Arizona is kind of complicated, but The minimum simple law is California 5 years. Arizona is I think 2 to 13 years, depending on situation. I don't think you can. I think if you are just a squatter, it's between 5 and 13 years. So, but don't work with that. You can Google it. Google adverse possession in Arizona and read it for yourself. It has been about 8 months or so since I Googled it, so I don't remember the details. So by now you should know the legal foundations of adverse possession and then take the courses to have the knowledge, first, of a real estate agent in your state, second, of a real estate broker in your state, third, take all the computer courses in the nearest community college. When I say nearest, either nearest physically or one that you can take online. And even if you are in high school, you'll be able to take them for credit, and ask your counselor about how to take advanced placement community college courses while you are still in high school. And remember, I assume you have an IQ of 120 to 150, so you should be able to handle your high school schoolwork plus one course per semester at a community college. So like I said, today is October 31st. I remember I told you I came to the Cochise County with 91 leads of houses to look at. By now, I probably looked at about 20 or so I still have 70 to go through. I'm going to be house and dog sitting from tomorrow until November 13th, so roughly the next 2 weeks. And then after that, I'm going to spend a week looking at my 70 or so leads that are left, and looking for another house potential candidate to squat. And when I find that, or if I have some other thoughts in the meantime, I will get back online and share them with you. I'm also going to search in Arizona for what courses are needed to become a real estate agent or broker, and see if I can find community college programs that teach that. And if I find them, I put them in the link below. So check the links below and see, even if you aren't in Arizona, see what kind of, you see an example of programs that give you the knowledge of a real estate broker, and then it'll help you look for similar programs in your own state. So I guess this is all I wanted to say for now. And another thing is one important lesson from my failed experience yesterday is that you cannot just get the lead for one house and then hope that that will be successful squatting experience. You have first to learn how to generate several leads. I would say you have to learn how to generate about 100 leads of properties that may be good candidates, and then travel and see them. And yes, another thing, in order to be able to look at, remember I stressed the importance of looking on isolated properties, because the ones like in towns are not isolated. Other people will find out about them before you do, so you cannot hope to get those. A lot of the driving I did yesterday did require an all-wheel drive SUV. So if I had driven my Corolla there, I probably would have been stuck somewhere on the road and lost somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Arizona. A lot of the roads I drove were not paved roads. So, and also you've seen how thick was the vegetation in abandoned properties. My Toyota Corolla would have been stuck in that too. So you need to do this squatting, you need an all-wheel drive SUV. Of course, if you are 14-year-old, you probably don't have that, but once you get the driver's license, you probably will need to get some kind of job and save enough money to buy a reliable all-wheel drive SUV. And second thing, I told you I will teach you how to make, I'm going to keep using the term make, even though it's not the right term, how to make $1 million through squatting. Now, before you order a catalog of yachts, see what yacht you're gonna buy with $1 million, let's do some math. If you got a job in California flipping burgers at McDonald's or serving them and ask them, do you want fries with that? You will get paid $15 an hour. If you work 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, that's 2,000 hours. $15 an hour times 2,000, that's $30,000 a year. If you did that for 40 years, without, even if you got no increase at all, which actually you would get, you would make $1.2 million. With the raises you would get, if you worked all your life at McDonald's, you will, for 40 years, with the raises you probably would get 1.5 million to 2 million, probably much closer to $2 million. So, and then you would pay taxes, and after taxes you would get, we would have left, assuming you spent nothing, but of course you would spend it, but if you spent nothing of what you made, you would be left with a little over $1 million. With real estate, it has favorable treatment in the tax code. If they don't change the tax law, the first $250,000 is tax-free. So if you did this 4 times, let's say over a 40-year career, you squatted a house every 10 years, and when you arrived to it, it was worth 100,000 as is, and then with the it's appreciated 150 plus sales costs, so say it appreciated 200,000, and when you sell it, you make a profit of $250,000. That's tax-free. And so if you did that every 10 years, over 40 years, you would have done that 4 times. 4 times a quarter, that's $1 million you would have left. So this method, I'm going to teach you, I'm in the process of teaching you, since I already started, will not make you more than you would make flipping burgers at McDonald's or serving burgers with fries. Now, what's the advantage? In order to make this money, flipping burgers at McDonald's, or I say probably serving them because flipping will probably be done by a robot pretty soon, is that's 40 hours a week. When you add commute time, that's 50 hours a week to make after taxes a little over $1 million over your lifetime. In the method I teach you, you can do it with 5 to 10 hours a week. So this isn't a method to become rich, but it's a method to make kind of living wage, not a wage since you won't be paid a salary, but a living way to live that's about the same as the one somebody flipping burgers at McDonald's, but in much less time. And then you decide what to do with the other 40 to 45 hours a week of productive time you have. If you are a MGTOW and don't care much about making too much money, you can just play video games 40 hours a week, or do whatever your hobbies are. Or if you want to make more money, then you can get a remote job. Well, you have basically you have infinite options, but I'm going to cite 3 of them. The first one is just to do this squatting and part-time job. You will need a part-time job first because you cannot eat the walls of your house, so you need cash to be able to live. And second, in most states, to become an owner through adverse possession, you have to pay taxes on the house and do improvements to the property. So improvements, you can mow the lawn, you can paint it, but you have to document some improvements to the property and pay taxes. So you will, while you won't pay rent, you won't pay mortgage, you have to pay about $1,000 a month between taxes and improvements to the property. So you will need some source of cash. So you can take a part-time job, and remember I told you have to search for houses in remote areas. So high-paying jobs are probably not available unless you get one remote. So either you get just a simple job like bartender, waiter at a restaurant or something part-time. You won't be able to do it full-time because you have to be repairing the house and looking for leads for future squats and things like that. Um, so like I said, you would spend about 5 to 10 hours a week on the squatting business. You probably should expect to spend another 20 hours a week on a part-time job or a part-time local job that doesn't pay much, or you can also get a remote job. If you learn software development, for example, or many other trades, you should be able to get a remote job that pays well. So those are the options you will have. You can The squatting will make you the same amount of money as somebody flipping burgers at McDonald's. You can double that with a part-time job, or you can quadruple that with a remote, what I would call a high-tech job like programming, stuff like that. So those are things you need to consider. So just because you become squatter doesn't mean you shouldn't get a college degree or acquire some skill to do a trade, either remotely or something that's available in a remote area. I cannot be any more specific because you'll have to decide, figure out what you want to do with that time, but you have to start thinking about those things. So this is the second lecture of the Squat Your Way to Millions course. I'm recording it, like I said, Thursday, October 31st, 2024. I'll probably upload it mid-November. And then, so this is the third video in the channel. Before I make the fourth video, I'm going to wait until I have at least 5 subscribers. That way I know if there is interest in the channel. So I'm going to email videos, links to the videos to some people I know, and then if I get 5 subscribers, I'm going to make a fourth video. If not, I'll stop making the videos. So, or I'll make them, but I won't upload them or something like that. I'll just make them for myself. So if you want to see a third lecture in the Squat Your Way to Millions course, the present course, subscribe and then send a link to the introductory video of the channel to 10 people you think might be interested in the channel, whether they're interested because they might be interested in squatting a house or just for entertainment purposes. And once I see that there are at least 5 subscribers, actually as I'm recording this third video, I haven't even created the YouTube channel yet. I'm going to create it in a couple of days. I'll be the first subscriber, and then if I get 4 more subscribers, I will make a fourth video and upload it. So click on the subscribe. Yeah, I told you last time to click on join. Don't click on join. Join is not free. Click on the bell icon. That's free. Subscribing and clicking on the bell icon, that's free. Commenting is free. So another way to help the channel and make sure I upload the fourth video is to comment on the video. That way YouTube will show it to more people, and then more people are likely to subscribe. So I'm gonna sign off. Don't forget what I said. By now I assume you have watched several lawyers talking about adverse possession. And then the next thing you need to learn is you need to learn real estate in your state by taking community college courses, and then take all the computer programming courses in your local, either local community college or one that you can take online. That'll give you the foundations you will need to squat and to generate leads to be able to squat. As I said earlier, I'm going to eventually teach a Java course in this channel to help you generate leads. First, we'll try to generate leads without Java programming. That way you will know how hard it is, and then you will understand why writing programs will simplify that process and will give you motivation, hopefully, to learn programming. And by taking computer courses, yeah, I'm going to say computer courses, computer related courses in your community college. You be prepared for the Java course that I'm going to teach eventually. And that's it for now. So once I get a 5th subscriber, I'm going to upload the 4th video, which would be the lecture number 3 in the Squat Your Way to Millions course. Talk to you later. Bye.